Welcome back to RCN Sports Talk. Our show tonight focusing on local high school sports issues. Our special guest Todd Bowser from Northampton, Roger Barron from Notre Dame of East Stroudsburg, Becky George from Palisades, joining Joe Craig and myself. We still have that trivia question out there. Name one of the two schools that won multiple District 11 titles last year during the spring sports season. So far, Joe is right on a couple levels because all the guesses are about a particular school, which you seem to have some animosity for. So. I'm not going to tell you what school that is, but if you can name one of those two schools, you'll win the RCN Video On Demand certificate for $10 and also a Sports Talk athletic shirt. What are you mumbling? Never mind, I don't want to know. Let's get to some of the emails here, and the first question here from Thomas, no town given, but is actually what I was going to ask these fine people up here was about the latest news on the Colonial League. Roger, I'll start with you. You're one of the new additions to the Colonial League as a full-time member, so maybe you can talk about what that entails for you and what are the benefits to you and for the Colonial League.
Yes, we are. Notre Dame is very honored to have been asked by the Colonial League to join in a few more sports. We've been an associate member for quite some time in 7 sports, and we've really enjoyed it. There's tremendous integrity among the athletic directors. They work very hard to do the right things for the student athletes. The principals are greatly involved, and there are a lot more things that go on off the field that benefit the student athletes, like the academic all-star breakfast that we were speaking about earlier that will take place next Friday at Green Pond Country Club. You know, it's going to help our student athletes in so many ways because you're going to continue to compete in even more sports now against real quality competition and against people with great values and principles, and they're going to try to reduce our expenses and our travel too, because right now we've been involved in scheduling, for instance, in basketball, 22 games, baseball and softball, 20 games, and sometimes we have to travel quite a distance to get all those in. Field hockey, we've played out in Benton, Milton, Muncie, sometimes, and this is going to be beneficial that way as well.
Yeah. And when you bring up travel concerns, I always think of your school, Becky, because you were at the southeasternmost part of the District 11 map. Does it help when you have more teams that come in to be able to increase some flexibility and maybe cut down on the travel expenses in some ways, looking at different alignments?
In some cases, that definitely can be a benefit, and it all depends how the divisions are lined up, and not only that, but how many times you're going to play each team within those divisions. Are you going to play them twice, or are you going to play them once? And in many cases, if you can keep it regionally centralized among the schools, it's going to be a travel benefit, and not just for the kids and getting home in time and all that kind of stuff, but also for the parents.
Great point. Yeah, because and again, you have to travel maybe more than anyone else, and people up in New Tripoli and Bangor have the same issues coming south to your schools. But I mean, that's got to be one of your concerns going forward in putting the budgets and looking at all the time and the gas expenses in terms of transportation, Roger. So that's something that will help you and the Colonial League as well.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of thought has gone into this by the athletic directors and principals and the various representatives of the school districts, and all those factors were considered. So it's a really a valuable enterprise that they're building.
Yeah. And the latest information, of course, Pleasant Valley declined the invitation, but Lehighton's invitation is still out there, and there's rumors about another school that's in the mix. I know the Morning Call is saying Jim Thorpe, but the Colonial League, as of now, is not saying officially who that other team would be, and there could be more changes coming down the road as well. Todd, I wanted to get your thoughts real quick on the LVC too, because I really love the divisional lineups that you have, and especially this time of year, in with Nazareth and Whitehall and Parkland. That's a great division for a lot of those spring sports. So your thoughts on the current LVC alignment?
Yeah, I mean, the alignment right now, I think our division's probably one of the toughest if you look at all sports, and good and bad, depending on, how well your teams are doing. But, we're all so close together, pretty much all neighboring school districts, at least with Northampton. And those rivalries that we have that have been established for years draw big crowds and get people excited about playing each other, and to get to play each other 2 times a year, and, that's great for our school and for the other schools involved.
Now, the other question I was going to ask, also emailed in here, this is from Thomas, no town given. Thoughts on Keith Groller's idea of the Morning Call about a super conference, and that's an idea that has been kicked around for some time, and it's been resurfacing in the last few months.
Well, the super conference discussion, that goes back that goes back 25 years. I mean, that's how far back this was considered. And to give people a real quick understanding of what we're talking about, it's like District 7, which is the WPIAL out in the Pittsburgh area. That's really a super conference. They took every school that fell within that district and they put them in the same league. And they broke them down into sizes of schools by sport, so that you might be in a division with schools your own size in basketball, as an example. And then when baseball season came about, you might be in a division with 3 or 4 other teams that aren't in your basketball division. And it varies by sport. And I think District 11, because of so much of the travel and some leagues have, take the Colonial League, where you have a Bangor that's a pretty good sized school in your league, and you got a Lehigh Valley Conference who's got one of the smaller schools in there, you know, who maybe has to really struggle a little bit to be able to compete with some of the big schools. You know, a super conference idea would even those things out a little bit.